Over?
Well, everyone seems to be on the mend. Smart and Roberts have got no temperature. Meg's taken them to the showers and then they'll rest in their cells. But as for Joan Ferguson...
What?
Quite frankly, she's driving me up the wall. She insists she's well enough to go back to work, but she's still running a high temperature.
Well, then she must stay in bed.
That's what I told her, but I just don't seem to be able to get through.
I'll have a word with her. What happens now if no one else gets this fever?
Well, we're almost through the incubation period. The next 24 hours could be the crunch. If we get through that, I think the quarantine will be lifted.
Hi.
Morning.
You got dressed early?
Yeah, well, I didn't see much point in changing for the funeral later.
You sure you don't want me to come with you?
No, Wally. I'd rather you stayed here. I'd feel better. Anyway, I know how you hate saying goodbyes.
Oh, just made it. How's Hazel?
Well, you know Hazel, it's hard to tell. She wandered down this morning. She had a cup of coffee, but she wouldn't eat anything. She said she wanted to go to the funeral. Now, I think that's a lousy idea. She's too depressed.
I don't think those tranquilizers are doing her much good.
Huh. Well, they're killing her appetite, that's for sure.
It's not just the pills, either. She's breaking her heart over those kids. Wish there was something we could do about it.
Yeah, but how? You've seen her. There's not a court in the world that would let her look after two little kids.
I don't know. As I told her last night, I don't see any reason why she can't at least see them. A mate of mine's a solicitor. I think I'll give him a ring. Get him to check out the legal angle. Never know. We might get a lead on this George.
That's a good idea, Wally. I mean, there must be something we can do for her. I just can't let her go on disrupting the house.
She's still okay?
They're coming along quite nicely. But I'm surprised Smith hasn't resumed a vigil.
Yeah, well, I've just checked her cell. Fast asleep.
Good, she deserves it.
Hello, where's Joan?
Oh, Meg took her to the showers. She's not the easiest person to cope with when she's sick.
She's not exactly a lamb when she's well, believe me.
Well, she's still running a temperature. I don't think she'll be returning to work for a while. How are the other two ladies?
Well, Smart and Roberts, they're resting. Pretty weak, but they've eaten a good breakfast.
Good. Look, don't underestimate this thing. It's going to take everyone a while to get over it. It's not like a headache that just miraculously disappears.
Dr. Collins, where's your white coat?
Pardon?
Your white coat. All doctors should wear a white coat.
I'm sorry, Pixie. I haven't had time for the niceties yet. But I must say it's nice to see someone coming in here fighting fit.
Oh, me? I wouldn't fight anyone, but I am fit. I've always been healthy, you know. I never even get a cold. I can wash it for you if you like.
Huh?
Your white coat. I'm here to collect the dirty linen for the laundry.
Then why don't you do just that?
Oh, right. Isn't it lovely that everybody's getting better?
Yes, it's marvellous. If we get through today, I think the quarantine will be lifted.
Oh, you must be so pleased. I can imagine how worried you were, especially seeing poor Petra so ill. I know if it was somebody I loved, Oh, I mean, well, doctors do love everybody, don't they? Oh, well, not exactly love, but they help everybody, don't they? Yes.
Why don't you get back to the laundry?
Yes, Mrs. Powell.
She does go on a bit, doesn't she? Pretty hard to follow most of the time.
But not all of the time. There is something between you and Petra, isn't there? I saw how you reacted when she collapsed.
Well, I am her doctor.
No, I'm not talking about a bedside manner, and I'm not trying to pry, but there are rules.
Look, I know there are rules, but sometimes they're not easy to follow.
So there is something.
Look, I didn't say that. Look, I just don't want to say any more about it. If you want answers, perhaps you better talk to Mrs. Reynolds. That's all I'm going to say.
Funerals give me the bloody creeps. We're all a bunch of hypocrites anyhow.
Who are?
People who turn up at funerals. Would pick you out of the gutter when you're alive. And then they turn up at the graveside to moan and cry about how much they're going to miss you.
What's the matter with you, Hazel? Maxine was our friend. I don't have to pretend that I'm going to miss her.
Yeah, I know. It's not Maxie. But us going to her funeral's not going to help her, is it?
Well, maybe not, but it might help us. God, you have to give yourself time to grieve. Anyway, if there's anything in afterlife, don't you think Maxine would like to know that we cared about her enough to say goodbye to her?
Yeah, well, there'll be nobody to say goodbye when I die. They've said it already.
Oh, for heaven's sake, will you stop feeling sorry for yourself for 5 minutes? Have a look around you. Sometimes it's a pretty good thing just to be alive. Are you coming or not? We're going to be late.
I don't know, Jude. I've got a splitting headache.
Hazel.
I can't, Jude. I just can't.
What I am saying is I don't like being kept in the dark. I am the Deputy Governor.
Colleen, I never meant to shut you out, believe me.
Then why on earth didn't you tell me? That's what I don't understand.
I planned to, but suddenly we were plunged into this quarantine situation. I could hardly dismiss the only medical person on the staff, could I?
Well, it can't go on.
It isn't, believe me. I've got Scott's word that nothing has or will happen between them. He just wanted to be close to her, that's all.
Yeah. Oh, God only knows what we would have done without him for the past few days.
Exactly. And if he goes, how long do you think it'll be before we get another one?
If we get another one. We can't afford to lose him.
I couldn't agree more.
Oh. I've been overreacting, haven't I?
Perhaps a little, but you had damn good reason.
Yeah. And a bruised ego.
Rubbish. You felt slighted, and it's my fault. I thought you realized how much I depend on you.
Well, considering the strain we've all been under, I think you've done wonders.
I think maybe we ought to adjourn this Mutual Admiration Society before it gets out of hand.
And we ask you to remember, Lord, that this was a child who often strayed from your path, and yet had a kind heart and a love for life that endeared her to those who knew her well.
Maxine.
So we commend her soul now to your infinite mercy and love. Amen.
I'm gonna miss you, you crazy kid. Maxine. Excuse me.
Yes?
I wonder if I could have a word with Mrs. Daniels.
Well, it's not really the right time or place.
Well, I was a really good friend of Maxine's. We were through a lot together.
See. You're...
Judy Bryant.
You're from that Driscoll house, right?
Well, you don't sound very impressed.
Well, can you blame me? Maxie should have stayed at home with her family. Instead, she goes off to you people.
Well, I'm sorry, but I don't think that's very fair, Mr.
Can't.
Carter. Roger Carter, huh? Her brother-in-law.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I know this isn't the time to air dirty linen, Mr. Carter. But if you and the family had been more understanding of Maxine, she wouldn't have had to run away.
You don't know what you're talking about. We all loved Maxie.
Yeah, well, you had a funny way of showing it. Her own sister didn't even come to the funeral.
She's pregnant, Brian. Her doctor wouldn't let her come. Hell, I don't know why I'm bothering to make excuses for you. Maxine was a disgrace to the whole family.
Are you forgetting something? If it wasn't for Maxine coming for you and that money, you'd be inside right now.
Shut up! I'm sorry. You're right. Maxie's dead now. We have to think of the living, don't we?
Well, I'm glad in one way she is. She didn't have